We all grew up hearing fairy tales, at least inspired by the Brothers Grimm, but have you noticed that South Africans tend to find them a little bit unnerving? I think it's because it's not really applicable to us, but what would it sound like if we retold those stories South African style? It starts with some crazy serial killing weirdo like Stuart Wilken or Moses Satole, and for conversation's sake we shall call him Joseph. Yeah, that's a nice, neutral, non-racial name. So Joseph stalks people where they live in rural communities, most likely in straw huts. He breaks in, kills them, and then probably eats them. Now at some point people are going to start getting wise and start noticing that people are disappearing and Joseph is putting on weight. So he packs up and moves to the big city. There, he carries on with his nightly excursions, but this time he's breaking into shacks, killing the occupants, nicking all their stuff, and then having them for lunch. I'm pretty sure no Chianti or fava beans are involved. Maybe a six-pack black label and a mealie. The police know about Joseph, and the useless crime lab has even managed to collect a fingerprint or two when they bothered to show up to the scene. But all in all, they would rather be sitting in their air-conditioned offices examining the contents of their nostrils than go out there and actually look for him. Meanwhile, the media has picked up on the story and they've given him a nickname, the Big Bad Wolf. Eventually, our lunatic starts getting arrogant and he decides to tackle some more upscale neighborhoods. I don't know, maybe rich people taste better. He runs into the problem of razor wire, electric fencing, armed response and Rottweilers, but eventually, he does get into a house where only to be greeted by the owner with his trusty Colt 45. Karma finally comes knocking and the owner promptly ventilates the fucker with 3 rounds to the chest. Now, anywhere else this would probably be the end of the story, but we know better. See, the owner, good citizen that he is, phones the police to report the incident. The police eventually arrive and promptly arrest the homeowner and charge him with murder. At his trial, the prosecutor makes the case that our poor dearly departed Joseph was merely looking for a glass of water, knowing full well what the fucker has done to countless other victims, but choosing to ignore it. The homeowner goes to prison, the victims are all dead, and Joseph's family gets compensated for their loss. The story has a wicked stepmother, some evil stepsisters, and poor little Cinderella who gets used and abused by the family. This just screams of rich madam and poor working girl, and it's got white guilt written all over it. So the prince of the area hosts a party and invites all the single ladies of the land because he needs to find the love of his life. For those of us that can read between the lines, this pretty much means that the prince has shagged every serving wench in the castle 3 times over, including Olga, the 73-year-old scullery maid, whose face looks like it was given the good news with a flat end of the shovel, and he now has probably every venereal disease known to man, including some that are only found in rodents. The king, meanwhile, is getting irritated with his son's antics, and the queen wants grandbabies. Now, let's be honest. You and I wouldn't dream of inviting all the single ladies in the area because at least one of them has some weird frikkie who's gonna rock up with 15 of his chubbas and crash your party all with his souped up Cortinas and GTIs. No thank you. Now, Cinderella doesn't get to go to the party because, well, the stepmother's a bitch. But luckily, a helpful fairy gogo arrives to save the day. Where the hell she was while the kid was mopping up dog vomit and scrubbing toilets, I don't know. Apparently waiting to make an entrance. So the fairy gogo swishes her wand, because we all know that's how stuff gets done in this country, and poof! Cinners has a brand new white silk Versace dress, the latest in Coco Chanel glass slipperware, and a brand new Gucci diamond encrusted clutch to round off the outfit. With it comes a Rolls-Royce Phantom drophead coupe to take her off to the party, a couple of overpaid servants, and a blue light brigade to escort her on her way. And we are all left wondering who the fuck is paying for all this shit, because we have a strong suspicion it's coming out of our tax money. Anyway, Cinders arrives at the party after everyone else and being all fashionably late. At this point, the prince has managed to get the itching under control from whatever crotch rot he has going at this moment, long enough to notice Cinderella waltzing into the ballroom like J-Lo in her prime. crime. He manages to charm her by means unknown to us, and they end up having a steamy makeout session in one of the broom closets. Unfortunately, the prince gets a bit too handsy, and Cinder slaps him in the face and buggers off all undignified. We are told it's because of coaches turning into pumpkins, but we all know that's crap, and the SABC just won't allow anyone to report on the truth. Of course, the prince can't fathom why anyone would refuse his advances, and he goes off and searching for Cinders a few days later after the bubbleus has worn off a bit. He scopes out all the chicks in the land and finally identifies her by having her put on a shoe instead of, I don't know, looking at her face. He convinces his stepmother to let him marry Cinderella by bribing her with lucrative government tenders, and Cinders, always the people pleaser, is whisked off without having a say in the matter. 2 years later, Cinderella catches HIV from her philandering husband because he forgot to take a shower. The end. That's it for me, guys. If you enjoyed this video, show that like button some love, share it on social media, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. You can also follow me on all my social media crap, links down in the description below. Have a good one. Cheers. My grandmother always said that seduction is a two-part game. First you have to seduce her mind, then you have to seduce her body. I had a fairly traumatizing childhood. Lex, you are killing me, girl. You're absolutely killing me. I want you to listen to me very carefully.